Good morning, everyone. It's Patty in the AM. It's September 15th, 2024. If anyone cannot hear me, please let me know. Our video should be working. I had different settings in my iPad due to my trip I just came back from. So had a little bit of a delay this morning. I had been away, and I knew I did want to do the video this morning, but I also knew to let my body rest, so I didn't set an alarm. And maybe I should have done a little post last night, but I don't know. Usually I wake up between 4 and 5, or even late as 6. But I guess I just needed to transition. I was coming from a different time zone, so your body just needs time to transition, to go from one room to the next, basically. So here I am today. I am back. And I also, I could have, rushed around and tried to be here a little bit sooner, but I also knew I needed to take the steps I normally do in the morning. Do you have a routine that you usually do in the morning that just keeps you aligned and peaceful and calm? I know I do. And, excuse me. I do have a little rhythm to my pattern. It's, just set the coffee on. I always get it all ready the night before, so I can just push the button. And I also take care of the dog. I have little Dallas. I have little Sophie, who's my little kitty. We don't see her because she thinks that the dog's just a bit too much for her still. He needs to grow up and be a little bit older, even though they're the same age. He's a little bit more energy. He just wants to play. But anyway, so I have to take care of him. And it's like when, you try and do things in a rush, it makes those ripples go out into your life. Have you ever noticed that? Have you noticed that when you rush or force yourself to be somewhere, or you get up late, or whatever it might be, it's like, it seems like you never catch up with yourself the whole day. It's like the whole day seems to be like in that kind of vibe. You're rushed. You can't seem to catch up with yourself, those feelings. And it's because what happened is, from the get-go, when we get up and we try and do anything in a rush, we're sending out those ripples to our universe that, this is what we want our day to be about, because they feel about those intentions that go out into the universe when we do things in a rush. That feeling, or maybe we have a little anxiety that we won't be there on time, or maybe we have a little anxiety that we won't meet everyone's expectations, or whatever it may be. And what I've always learned, or have learned greatly over the last few decades, is we're always on time. There is no time. And that, even when I do, one-on-one counseling with someone, and, we try and set a time, and sometimes it doesn't work out, even though it's an actual time, like maybe it's exactly 11 a.m., and, I'll find that if I'm running a little bit behind, if I don't worry about it and just let it be, I'll find that, the person I'm supposed to be with at that appointed time is also running behind. It happens all the time to me. But think about even that feeling that you're rippling out. And if you're not rippling it out in anxiety, you're just like, maybe I should kind of send them a little message, I'm running behind. I do apologize. It happens to all of us. But if we don't give it like a feeling of anxiety, like, oh my gosh, they'll never book with me again, or I don't know, what would you think if I'm so at ease these days. But I have to go back and remind myself of what I felt like when I first started my own business years ago. It's to remember that I have also grown too, as everyone else will grow around me, because it's all my experience in my universe. So everything is shaping and forming as I am also shaping and forming. So if I'm not concerned about something, I'll set my world at ease. It'll also not be concerned about something, and it's also going to be in accordance with me. And if it's not, it's okay. It's all right. It's just to let things be and allow them to simmer, so to speak, to come and be as they need to be. So the thought today is by Oren. I love Oren. I hope everyone gets some time in their life to read the books, the Earth series by Sanaya Roman. It's Sierra Alpha, November Alpha. I can't think of what Y is at this moment. And then Alpha, Sanaya. And the last name is Roman, so Romeo, Oscar, Mike, Alpha, November. So really, look her up. The books came out in the 80s. She's passed. I mean, it's not about making money or getting anything from it. I just really loved her books when they were first put in my hands years ago. Just a woman who began channeling a lovely spirit, a spirit who only has, if you read the books, you're just going to feel love. It's just in a most delightful and kind, thoughtful way. And if you're not like that when you first start reading them, when you're ready to read them, that is what you will feel. It's almost like those books won't come to you until you can be at a place in this dimension of what adheres to that, or what is drawn to that feeling of wanting to live in joy. Because that's the first book. It's entitled Living in Joy. So back to the thought. So it's by Oren, and it is, or Sanaya Roman. The channel is Oren. Maybe Oren and Deben. Sometimes there's two channels that helped her. Being clear means taking the time to think out issues in your life. It is more important to think them out than to act them out. Many of you want to take action to see results. Finding right action is quite easy if you are willing to spend the time to think, to connect with your higher, innermost self, and to receive inner guidance. Clarity comes from a state of mental concentration, of focusing the thoughts and paying attention. So I like to tell a story. Like, how does that connect with me? How does that thought that I just read aloud, how does it adhere to my life? In what ways have I been so upset about something that I tried to force a situation, only to find that it repels? And it repels because you're forcing something. Like, say, if you want somebody, I don't know, maybe you're having a huge party and you want certain people to come. Maybe it's your own family members. And maybe there's a little bit of turbulence in your relationships. If you force them and tell them, or keep calling them and keep pushing them, they'll never come to you, because force does not allow. So what we want to do is allow the grounds for all to come. So say we have that huge party, and we want all our family and friends to be there. We extend the invitation. What kind of invitation are we sending? Imagine ourselves writing an invitation. What is the intention of that invitation? Is it that there's conditions, that everyone who comes must bring a gift? Is it that everyone who comes must act appropriately? Is it that everyone that comes must be dressed appropriately? It's like, really put some feeling into what are your thoughts when you do extend out that invitation. Or is the invitation just open, allowing all to come as they are? There's a great song by Nirvana that states that, come as you are. And I do love that thought, because in life, if we allow everyone to come as they are, it sets a peace at mind. I just came back from a trip, and that's why I'm probably a little delayed in my video this morning, allowing myself to get that rest. And the time zones, kind of can throw you off. But what it is, it reminds us to always be in that clear state of mind, to always be still, to just allow, like to not force myself to be anything more than I can be, and this is who I am. But when we do that, we allow everyone else to do the same. If we've ever taken a trip, we'll run into many different characters. And I like to see them as characters, because to me life is like a movie. And as we watch a movie, whether it's the most, I don't know, it could be the most purest movie, like a G-rated movie, or it could be any rated movie. And who we are in that moment will gravitate towards certain characters. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. We'll really love one character, but not the other. But it is in us to find the joy in each character. Like, even, I love the movie from when my daughter was young. It's called Beauty and the Beast. And it was, the different characters in that movie will really show you that each character that you gravitate towards, you'll find that maybe you really like Belle in the beginning, or maybe you like Gaston, or maybe Gaston is how you pronounce it. But it's all these little characters that you'll see in your own way. By being who they are, they create the most beautiful movie. I love that movie. I think it's like everyone has a way of honoring that feeling of how it takes a village to raise a family. Like, you need all these bits to come together. So being clear on your intention means already knowing, like, what is it that you desire in life? What is it that you don't see yourself having in this moment, but you allow it to come to you? And we can think on many ways that happens. How many things have you forced from your life because you didn't allow it to come? Because everything comes in accordance to its own way of being. But if we force it or have an expectation of how, when, where, or it will happen, we're actually almost causing resistance. And we know this even if you've ever had a pet. If you're trying to force an animal or a person to be a certain way, we're resisting it. We're pushing it away. It's like repelling it. So it's to honor each being and know that we all are who we are. But the clarity comes from allowing, to know that if I keep imagining and knowing that all will come to be as it is, or how it needs to be, then I'll be more peaceful. And it reminds me to always be at peace, to be still, to know that in clarity, in intention, one must be clear. And what does it also mean to be clear in your intention? Like, say if you had a dream, maybe it's to be president. That seems to be a popular topic these days. Or maybe it's to be an astronaut, or maybe it's to be just happy. If you give yourself the stillness and calmness and knowing that it'll come to be, and to act on the invitations in life that you feel drawn to, you'll find that everything that you were drawn to was setting you up to be as you chose to be. And once you're at that state of being, you'll find, wow, I want something else now. Because we're here to grow. We're here to be present. We're here to enjoy this experience of life and to find honor in that, to find joy in that life, to find light in that life, to find that state of being that allows you to just be and allow yourself to desire whatever it is you wish, but give it the grounds to grow. I love you all. And I wish we could have had that clarity in the first video, but maybe some things just weren't meant to be out there yet. But if you have any questions or want to sit with me, just send me a message. We'll create a session. I do still offer discounts for those, if we need a little bit of, maybe we're just not ready to pay on, we have things that we need to pay first or whatever. I don't want to make things a struggle. I am here for you. Okay, that's all I have today. Enjoy the day. It's a beautiful one.